When you can actually see your profit for the year in dollars and cents, it gets you more in the notion of selling corn, knowing that I can lock in a $50,000 profit or whatever the profit is. You want to lock it in. If I know I can make that much profit in a year, I will be in business next year.
Hi there, welcome to GrainTV. It's the Friday edition, November 28th. We had a Black Friday to write home about, Cody. We had wheat up sharply at 17 cents on the March contract, while beans were off 33 cents. On the wheat story, we continue to see support from weakness in the crop conditions in Russia and Ukraine. Cody, you've been talking about that for the last week, and it's still a driving force. But on the bean market, what did we have happen today that sold us lower?
Well, there wasn't really fundamental news that came out this morning that really dropped soybeans. One thing, we did have OPEC talk about keeping production the same. That hammered the oil complex. And I think some of the weakness spilled over into soybeans earlier on. But I think a lot of what we saw, the weakness here in soybeans today, really came out of the fact that this tightness in domestic pipeline that has really been driving soybeans higher here really since the beginning of October. I think we're starting to see some of those needs met. Obviously, harvest is for the most part wrapped up. I think we've seen some more farmer sales. There was talk about dump lines being exceptionally long earlier on this week. I think the bottom line here is that people are going to start focusing more on South America. And right now, South America is doing very well. There seems to be plenty of moisture in Brazil to continue their planting pace. In Argentina, there is a little bit more rain than is needed. Some areas are a bit saturated, but it doesn't look that bad overall down there. And
right.
I think that's part of the reason why we saw some serious selling here for soybeans this Friday.
Right, and when we look at the cash market, end users, both in the corn and in the bean market, seem to be backing off a little bit. Ethanol plants, while they were positive this week, not as boisterous as they were the week before. And so we actually saw about a third of the ethanol plants actually back off their basis from last week. In the bean market, same story, especially in the western corn belt. We're seeing those bean plants, keeping their basis fairly steady or even backing off a little bit. Eastern corn belt, a little more strength. The real news in the basis market this week was a continued decline in barge rates, which is helping fuel higher basis at those river terminals. You'll see these green areas along the river terminal system. That's where we're seeing exceptional strength in basis because of really sharp falls in the barge rates.
Absolutely. And when you talk about those river terminals, this week we did get export sales out on Friday. It was delayed one day due to Thanksgiving. And of course, when you look at them, when you look at what came out this morning, soybeans beat analyst expectations. Very strong soybean sales here, beating expectations by about 485,000 metric tons of sales here. Is about 1 million metric tons over last week's sales. So very positive here for soybeans. Corn also beat analyst expectations here, coming in at 944,000 metric tons. Really very strong for corn and soybeans. Wheat wasn't so impressive, only booking 431,000 metric tons. But really, that's not the story for wheat. The story for wheat is about the production really in 2015-16. And there's serious concerns here right now in Russia and Ukraine.
Right, and when you look at soy meal, you see actually net cancellations on the week, and what has been driving the soybean market has been the tight pipeline for soy meal. So maybe what we're seeing is an end to that tight crunch in the soy meal market. Absolutely. With these net cancellations this week.
Exactly, and those soybean exports, they have just been very hot. And of course, with cancellations, that does take a little bit of the strength out of the market. But other than that, that wraps up today's show. If you have any questions, please give us a call, 877-472-4607. Remember to take a demo of our 14-day free trial here of our mobile trading platform and desktop platform and see what it's like to have live quotes on the go. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here on Monday.